Hi everyone, and welcome to Building Skills and Understanding Careers. My name is Audrey Walls and I am a part of the Career Services staff here at Business Career Services. And today we'll be presenting on a basic overview of what you need to know to get your career started, especially for supply chain majors. We'll cover our services at BCS, which are available online this semester, how to get involved and build skills as a supply chain major, the most common supply chain job titles and where to search for them, and lastly, how to set up an appointment with BCS if you need to. So now that we have a roadmap, let's go ahead and get started. First up is an overview of our services here at Business Career Services. So if you don't know us already, our physical location is B1102 in Sneed Hall. We're right around the corner from Bleecker Street Cafe. But for this semester, we're offering all of our services virtually, which means that appointments, programs, career fairs, it's all going to be online. Our one-on-one appointments can cover literally anything related to your career search in that first column. So we can do resume reviews and cover letter reviews, up to job searching and career exploration, right up to practicing interviews and accepting job offers once you start getting them. You can even make appointments with us about setting up your LinkedIn profile, how to use Handshake, or even going to grad school if that's something that you're going to think about pursuing. Some programs we run outside of one-on-one appointments in the middle column are things like our Monday morning This Week in Sneed Hall emails, electronic resume review using our new software system that's called VMock, posting jobs and internships in Handshake, using VCU Biz Connect as a way to connect with alumni in the business community online, and our own fancy YouTube playlist that has videos for just about every topic, including a series that we just did recently on job searching during COVID-19. Last, but definitely not least, our fall career fair is coming up, and that'll be held virtually for this semester. It's on September 15th from 11 to 3, and there will be group events on Zoom as well as one-on-one time slots for you to be able to talk with employers and recruiters, the same as you would if you were walking up to a table at a career fair. You are required to register ahead of time and choose the companies you're interested in for one-on-ones. That way we're able to schedule a time slot for you. That's all pretty cool because that means that if you're interested in a specific company, we can pretty much guarantee you that you'll be able to talk with them if you act soon enough and let us know that you're interested. Alright, so next up, let's talk about some things that you can specifically do as a supply chain major to really amplify your experience while you're here in school. On this slide, we've put information into 3 different buckets. So on campus, on your own, and through internships. For the on-campus section, you should think about things you can do in terms of taking on part-time jobs on campus that have a facility or an operations-based role, such as working at the gym, or working at a rec center, or in the student commons, all of which are places that routinely hire student workers or hourly employees to cover their needs. If there's a particular part of supply chain that interests you, or if there's a class that you got really invested in, think about reaching out to that professor who taught it and see if they're currently conducting any research in that area that they could need help with. It would largely be volunteer-based, so you may not necessarily get paid for it, but you could get into the academic and the trends and the research part of SCMA if that's something that interests you. Also, you can think about any club or organization on campus that you'd like to be a part of, whether it's relevant to your supply chain major or not, and you could become a board member or hold a leadership role in that organization, especially if it's one that deals with activities or programming, anything like that. Similarly, VCU has an activities and programming board for the student body that's called APB, and it's at the student commons, and you can become a part of that, and it focuses on bringing events, doing outreach for the whole student body, and it can give you a lot of experience with logistics and vendors and programming, which are all things you're going to need as a supply chain major. Lastly, consider joining Alpha Kappa Psi, which is the honors fraternity for supply chain management students that has a really active chapter here on campus. In the middle column on the On Your Own section, things you can think about are LinkedIn Learning, which is a really easy online self-taught learning tool with videos and tutorials in just about every subject, including supply chain and operations management topics. There are loads of professional organizations out there that also focus on supply chain management, and most of them have discounted membership fees for students, which is really nice. The Institute for Supply Chain Management is only $35 a year. Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals, or CSCMP, is only $40 a year. That's a really deep discount considering how much those can go up after you graduate, so take advantage of it while you can. Other things you can think about are joining the staff of Amazon, which has operations here locally, and pursue some work as a part-time warehouse associate. You could see the day-to-day operations of a really huge company and apply that going forward. Or, alternatively, you can think about ways where you can gain more supply chain experience in a job that you might have already. So if you're, say, folding shirts at Old Navy, we've all been there. We've all had that kind of job. Ask if there are ways that you can get involved with operations, procurement, inventory, purchasing, management, things like that you already have in the job that you're doing. Lastly, consider looking into MIT OpenCourseware, which is like LinkedIn Learning for online learning, but OpenCourseware posts real MIT class content and videos from faculty and professors from a number of classes that are actually taught there, and includes supply chain management and business-related classwork. So that's a cool thing to look into too, and it's all completely free. So in the last column, internships are the most common and go-to ways that we think of gaining quote-unquote experience in the field. Internships can be paid or unpaid depending on where you look, although most paid internships will start around $12 to $15 an hour and go up from there. Internships usually run a semester, so you're thinking fall, spring, or summer semester, and can average about 10 to 20 hours a week during the school year, but those hours can sometimes be more over the summer, especially if you aren't taking any additional classes, or you're interning in a location that's other than Richmond. So for thinking about how to get started with looking for these internships or looking for entry-level roles in supply chain, we're going to want to talk some about what the common job titles are to look for. And that brings me to my next slide. Here we've broken up SCMA job titles into 3 buckets or 3 categories, job families if you want to think about them that way. Hands-on, analytics, and the and more section, because SCMA is such a wide-ranging profession that touches a lot of different operations. So hands-on is going to be just what it sounds like, the part of a supply chain program that deals with people and processes, working with others and having a boots-on-the-ground type of attitude. A day in one of these positions is most likely never going to look quite the same way twice. And there are problems and opportunities and things popping up for you to respond to all day long. So this person should really like variety and keeping on their toes, whether you're working with inventory, materials, receiving, or logistics, which are all some of the titles that we've listed out here for you to look at. In the second column, analytics is going to be more of your behind-the-scenes work of supply chain. Those who may spend a lot of time working at a desk or thinking about spreadsheets, number crunching, predicting where a certain process is headed. That's why almost every position here is some sort of analyst. That word crops up a lot. Supply chain analyst, product support analyst, procurement analyst, traffic analyst, logistics analyst, operations analyst, everything analyst, so on and so on and so on. These are big picture thinkers who are able to see all the parts of how the process and supply chain works, rather than focusing on their piece of the process and really getting into it like a hands-on person might. Lastly is the and more section, where we have a collection of other job titles that you can look out for. Things like quality assurance specialist, purchasing manager, production planner, junior buyer, inventory planner, account support representative. Luckily enough, supply chain is kind of a new and growing field, so there's a lot of interest in creating positions and hiring folks in this area. So you can expect jobs to crop up in a lot of different places with a lot of different titles. Looking at the job description of these is going to be just as important as the job title, so that you know for sure what it all entails, regardless of whether or not the role is a planner or a manager or a coordinator role. So read the fine print on all of these for sure. So now that we have all these wonderful job titles, where do we search for it all? So where to search for jobs? These three websites are really our holy trinity. It's Handshake, LinkedIn, and Indeed. You can look other places like Glassdoor, Snag a Job, Monster, or even Craigslist. But those tend to be a little less vetted, a little less filtered. Their postings are not quite as polished. So you may have to wade through a lot of slush to get to something meaningful. Handshake, LinkedIn, and Indeed, on the other hand, all have really highly customizable filtering tools. Those allow you to laser point your job or internship search if you want to. You can also make appointments with us to specifically go over job searching or using these platforms if you'd like to, which brings me to my next slide. How to make appointments. So if you log into Handshake, you'll see a toolbar at the top that looks a lot like this one up here. You'll want to click on Career Center. That's where that green arrow is pointing. And then you'll have a series of prompts that will ask you to choose your appointment type. And then you fill out a series of questions that ask you what day, what time you want to make the appointment for, what topics you want to cover, things like that. You'll hit submit at the end of that and get a confirmation email from Handshake pretty fast, so check your email for that too. Our next slide is other contact information that you should know. Like I mentioned at the beginning, our physical location is B1102 Sneed Hall, but we are taking appointments through Zoom and phone for this semester, and those happen anywhere from 9 to 4:30. You can call us at 804-827-1801, or you can drop us an email at bizcareer@vcu.edu. Our website is easily found using this address down here. You can also find us on the School of Business main website. We have a link to us on there, or you can just Google us and you can find us that way. And lastly, you can follow us on social media if you want to see some fun stuff and some good information as well, because we're on Instagram at SneedLife. And that is a wrap for me and this presentation. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your class today, and seriously let us know if there's anything we can do to help you career-wise. Working with students is easily all of our most favorite part of the job, except for making presentations like this, of course. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We hope you have a great rest of the day. Don't forget to be excellent to each other, and we really hope we see y'all come in soon. Have a good one.